partner difficulties. I'm not sure what the controls are doing. But listen, I want to thank y'all for tuning in once again. This is Chopping It Up with Ramel. No notes, straight from the throat. So much to talk about as my alarm goes off. So much to talk about this morning, especially in the NBA, of course, as we wait to Thursday for the NCAA tournament to resume. And when it does resume, we got some matchups to watch out for. The one that's going to be, of course, the most intriguing is the Kentucky and UCLA matchup. That's going to be the most intriguing matchup of this Sweet 16 round. I mean, that's actually a Final Four around. Really, you can make the case that that's Final Four material right there. But nevertheless, it is a Sweet 16. But we'll get into that come Thursday morning. But right now, I want to talk about the NBA. A lot of things is going on in the NBA right now. Of course, the playoff races, the resting, not to mention in the last 2 nights, it's been very physical in the NBA. 2 nights ago, you had Boston and Washington. You had Golden State and OKC. Both of those games had some tempers flared. Players was ejected, some physical play, some pushing, some shoving. In the case of Boston and Washington, this here is emerging as being a rivalry. And I bring that up, rivalry, the word rivalry, because in today's game, there aren't any rivalries. Rivalries are not just because you might be facing a team for the third time in the NBA Finals. No, that's not a rivalry. Not to me, it's not. You know, Boston and the Lakers faced each other so many times in the 80s. And yes, it was a rivalry because of the history of the team. They always seem to have been facing one another in the finals. But the real rivalries to me were Detroit and Chicago, New York and Indiana, New York and Miami. Those were rivalries. Those was rivalries. Where it got physical, there was pushing, there was shoving, there was ejections, punchings thrown, rules changed. Those were rivalries to me. So to see Boston and Washington going at it in the way that they do, that's like music to my soul. I appreciate that. I'm not suggesting or insinuating in any form that the game should be violent, but I do like it physical. I'm not gonna lie. I'd rather see the game more physical than this watching people just shoot uncontested layups. Give me toughness. Bring back the hard fouls. I'm okay with it. I enjoy seeing that. I don't want to see everybody just thinking it's easy to go to the basket. It's okay to get a little forearm. Why not? Why not? So when you have this Boston and Washington rivalry going on, I'm hoping they meet in the playoffs in the second round. I hope they meet. I really do. Because I think that's going to be an intense throwback series for 7 games. Don't know who will be the winner. I think Boston may have the edge. But at the end of the day, yes, this is going to be one to watch. I want to see that. Golden State, OKC. The bad thing about this is it's a rivalry for not necessarily the wrong reasons. It's a rivalry because Westbrook has put it in his mind that he needs to go hard at these guys each and every time. And obviously, they're not going to back down to him. But the problem with this is that, yes, it's a heated rivalry because of the Kevin Durant departure, the stuff that's being tweeted, the stuff that goes on in the papers and in the interviews. But Westbrook just don't have the staff to compete with Golden State. You know, in the Boston-Washington series, it could go either way. It can go either way. Washington can actually beat Boston. And Boston can beat Washington. But in this, Golden State has swept the series against OKC, and I don't think anything else would change in the playoffs. I'll root for OKC just because they're the underdog, and I like Russell. I'll root for them. But truth be told, I doubt if this goes past 5. They'll get one at home. But nevertheless, it's a rivalry, and I like it. But someone else is going to have to step up because Westbrook is trying too hard. In fact, he's having some of his worst games of the season against Golden State. So somebody else is going to have to step up and to help out or match the efforts or the enthusiasm of Westbrook from the OKC. And then it was last night. Toronto and Chicago. Toronto's trying to get some kind of rhythm to stay in that top 4 in the East, trying to hold down Fort until Kyle Lowry gets back. And Chicago is fighting for their playoff lives. And then you get Robin Lopez and Serge Ibaka going in. Now, I won't say that this is a rivalry, but Chicago has played Toronto over the years very tough, no matter who's in uniform. But this one came down to where punches was actually thrown. Nobody connected, but the punches was thrown. Players had to be separated and definitely ejected. And I'm sure suspensions will come down. But you know what? Every now and then, you need a little bit of that. You do. You rally your team. You spark your team. Sometimes you need a little bit of that. Because this nice guy stuff where opposing teams are picking up players up, opposing teams are going out to dinner after games. Come on. That takes away from the competitiveness. Yeah, I hate to go back to my day, but you never knew Michael Jordan and Charles Oakley was best friends. Not when the Bulls played the Knicks. You didn't know that. You didn't know they was best friends. And they're best friends to this day. But when they were on the court, they were enemies. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see this nice guy stuff. Unbelievable. Kudos to the hard play. Kudos to the hard fouls. I have no problem with it. Let's play ball. Let's play ball. This game is becoming a non-contact game, and these guys want rest. Could you imagine playing in the 80s and the 90s with that physical play? Guys would miss 10 to 15 games a year for rest. And speaking of rest, I don't even know why this is a topic today in the NBA about rest. Steve Kerr, to me, made a silly statement. I wouldn't be opposed to, this is Steve Kerr, I wouldn't be opposed to the league shortening the season and shortening our salaries. It doesn't matter how many games you play. These guys is going to want rest. These guys are going to want rest. No matter how many games you play. If these guys want to rest their bodies, don't play summer ball. Don't play international ball. Leave that for the younger guys. Maybe the college guys. Maybe the D League. Let them go compete against the other countries. Prohibit NBA players from going. Maybe give them one opportunity to play an Olympic game. You qualify for international rules for the first four seasons of your career. After that, you're disqualified. You're ineligible. See, the pros of yesteryears, in the summertime, they rested their body. They relaxed. Sure, they went to a gym, shot around, whatever. Yeah, maybe they had a gym in their backyard. Whatever the case is, yeah, that's understandable. Everybody needs to work on their craft. But they didn't play. They didn't play ball. There's a difference from practicing, shooting around. But they didn't play ball. You guys want to play 3 and 4 different Olympics. Here's LeBron James is not ruling out the next Olympics, but he's complaining about resting. He's complaining about the league, complaining about him resting, but yet he's already on statement that don't rule him out for the next Olympic game. There's where the problem lies right there. There's where the problem lies. It's not the regular season. Because if you shorten the season and you still have back-to-backs, they're still not going to play. They're still not going to play. So the problem is not the scheduling or how many, let's put it this way, it's not how many games you schedule. If there's back-to-backs, 4 games in 5 nights, 3 games in 4 nights, these guys is going to sit out. Now, I have no problem if you clinch the playoffs and now you find a way to rest the player. I have no problem with doing that. I actually will even accept if you took tonight to rest one player. But when you're resting 60 to 80% of your starting 5 on any given night in the same game, that's a problem. That's a major problem. And with the league coming down, talking about owners need to get involved unless there's going to be severe penalties, great move by the league. Like LeBron says, this has been a problem only because I'm sitting down. Popovich has been doing it for years. Popovich has been getting away with it because he was sitting one player at a time. The minute he sent 4 players home, plus the 6th man, the team got fined $250,000 for doing so on a national televised game between the Spurs and then the Miami Heat, which featured LeBron James, D. Wade, and Chris Bosh. He was fined $250,000, the team. So this has been a topic before. This has been issued before. Listen, baseball players, I see catchers rest. I see certain fielders rest. They play 162 games. Sometimes they play 7 games in a row. I see them rest. But one thing, when they rest, they are in uniform, and I would say maybe 75% of the time, they pinch hit. So this resting, something needs to be done. It needs to be addressed. I'm tired of talking about it, but it is a problem. And it's a severe problem. The loyalty to your team, the loyalty to the game, the loyalty to the fan, the respect to the sponsors and the network that help pay for your salary. It's almost you saying to the bosses or to the people that shell money out to see you, kiss your tail. That's not cool. That's not good. It really isn't. And again, I wouldn't oppose to a game LeBron rests. I wouldn't. But I do oppose to a game that not only he rests, but 2 or 3 other players on his team are resting. That's part of the starting 5. And it's a national televised game. Or it's a road game. I have a problem with that. I really do. And I'm not alone. I'm not of the minority. I'm of the majority. Doc Rivers played the Lakers last night. I have all the respect for how he did it last night. Team went out there, did what they needed to do in the first half. Starters didn't play the second half. That's the way to rest the player. Everybody got what they want. And the Clippers got the win. I have no problem with that. Golden State beats up on Dallas last night. Curry sits out for the fourth quarter. I have no problem with that. That's how you're supposed to do it. Get it over with early, sit down. You came out, you delighted the crowd for a half, 3/4. They got their money's worth. Unfortunately, the game wasn't competitive enough for you to play the old 48. I have no problem with that way of resting. Let's get to some of the highlights last night. Chicago did, in that game with Toronto that turned out to be a couple of ejections with some physical play. Toronto did secure the win in overtime. And for the fifth time, I think it was, this season, Derozan scored over 40 points as he had 42 points last night. So big win for Toronto. Chicago in a dogfight for that race for eighth in the East. They lost. Miami wins. Detroit loses. Miami is now in eighth place by a game over Detroit, and I think a game and a half to 2 games over Chicago. So that is heating up with about 10 games left to go. It's really coming down to the wire as Miami did win last night to jump into the 8th spot as Detroit loses. So Detroit now is in the 9th spot. I tell you what, after all the hype of Detroit pushing Cleveland last year or giving them a tough first-round matchup, so much promise coming into this season with the Detroit Pistons. If they fail to make the playoffs, clearly this team has regressed. But if they fail to make the playoff, is this on Stan Van Gundy? Because at the end of the day, he provided some of the groceries, and he's there to cook it. And right now, this team has clearly regressed, and I don't see it getting any better. You have Reggie Jackson. That's really, the team plays better when Ish Smith is out there, but Ish Smith is not the better player of the two. Andre Drummond looked like he's leveled out. Doesn't seem like he's getting any better. You don't really have a wing guy that can take over for you in an event that Reggie Jackson is not on his A game. This team here is in the need of a major shakeup. I'm not sure what does it need and what can it get. But right now, as a sample, if it remains the same, you're going to see it the same way as the future goes on. The only way this team gets a little bit better is if Reggie Jackson becomes a little bit more controlled and gets everybody involved, or Andre Drummond becomes a beast over the summer, works on his game, and next season becomes a problem. Outside of that, I don't see anything different happening for this team. I just don't see it. Don't see it at all. And another game, I want to talk about DeMarcus Cousins. Last night he had a great game, 41 points, 17 rebounds, and a win. Who did they beat? Can't remember who they beat, but that's not the point. He was 5 from 9 from 3-point range. He had it going last night. It's good to see this guy playing well. I root for this guy. I don't think it's going to work in New Orleans with him and Anthony Davis. I like what New Orleans has done because what they gave up to get him, they're able to get back more if they trade him. And there's going to be a team that's going to have their hands up this summer if they should trade him. And it could be a couple of teams. And I think that the New Orleans Brass is going to be in a better situation than Sacramento in getting trade pieces. I look for him to be traded this offseason. It doesn't work there. They need to surround Anthony Davis with winning players. All right, before I close today, I do want to touch on the WBC. That's the World Baseball Championship. What do you know? USA will be playing Puerto Rico in the championship game. If I'm correct, I think they advanced last night after beating Japan 2-1. So it looks like USA will be playing Puerto Rico in the World Baseball Classics. So kudos to the USA. I didn't know they had it in them. But it's only fitting. Spring training is about to wrap up in about maybe a week or so. Major League Baseball season opens usually follows the NCAA tournament when it's done after the Final Four. So that should be around the corner. And maybe we're about 2 weeks away. So kudos to the USA for getting there. And kudos to Puerto Rico. So should be a good game. We'll see what happens. I'll keep you posted on that. But that's going to do it for my show. And I appreciate you guys tuning in. And I'll see you guys in 24. Peace and blessings.